My brothers and sisters in Islam, if you were to think about the hereafter, the day of judgment, it is as long as 50,000 years. And Allah extends that day and says, في يوم كان مقداره 50,000 سنة, in a day which is as long as 50,000 years. If we were to count in another tafsir that 50,000 years is one day to Allah, do you know how long you've actually lived? 1 point something seconds, if you were to take away the sleeping time. 1 point something seconds of our lives Allah asks of us, and we neglect it. You know what happens to that? On the day of judgment, when we are resurrected, Allah describes our mentality and what we will be first saying. You know what we first say? They say, Ya waylana, oh woe to us, man ba'athana min marqadina. And there's a pause. Ya waylana, man ba'athana min marqadina. Who is it that brought us back out of our slumber? And then there's a pause, marqadina. And you don't take a breath in the ahkam of the Quran. You go, man ba'athana min marqadina, hadha ma wa'ada ar-Rahman wa sadaqa al-mursalun. So with that pause, it's as though Allah is telling us that on a day of judgment, people will be raised and they're in shock. They say, woe to us, who brought us back out of our slumber? And you're in shock, right? So you don't take a breath. And then you realize something. Hadha, this is what the Rahman, the most merciful, actually told us about and promised will come. And his messengers were truthful. And then people say, Kam labithtum fil ardi adada sinin? How many years do you think we actually stayed on earth? And then some people start, there's a commotion, and people say, إِن لَبِثْتُمْ إِلَّا يَوْمًا أَوْ بَعْضَ يَوْمٍ. Wallahi, you just lived maybe a day or part of a day. That's what it feels like. And another ayah they say, فَاسْأَلُوا الْعَادِينَ. Let's ask the people who have got a better memory than us in calculating. قَالُوا إِن لَبِثْتُمْ إِلَّا يَوْمًا. They will say, you only really stayed but a day. Allahu Akbar. All these years from the beginning, akhwan, brothers and sisters, they're not asking about the 60 or 70 years you lived. They are asking about the whole earth's life cycle, the lifetime of the earth, from the beginning of its creation till the end, from Adam, for the humans, from Adam alayhi salam till the end of time. We feel like it's going to be a day, or it was only a day. And that's when Rasul tells us people will say, for a day I neglected this life. For a day I neglected my Lord. For a day I stole. For a day I went after a wrong purpose. For a day I backbit. For a day I did this. For a day I fought. For a day I did all this haram. For one day I did all this just for a day? No, not a day. For a second. I ruined my life for a second. Allahu Akbar.